Hi and welcome to Yum Paleo. My name's Andrew and today we're going to be doing a really simple shrimp stir fry. So anyway, to get started, what we have here is 2 pounds of shrimps. We have 4 kumara or sweet potatoes, and they're just cubed into small pieces. I have some walnuts and some basil and some garlic ready to make our own paleo pesto. So usually you might do it with pine nuts. I'm doing it today with walnuts. And we're also just going to throw in a little bit of asparagus as a green. And we're going to see how this goes. And depending on how it turns out, I may or may not throw in a little bit of coconut cream as well. But one of the fun parts of cooking with these kinds of things is that you can do it quite visually and sort of just get a feel for how you think it's going to go. So anyway, what I started by doing is I have cubed these 4 kumara up, sweet potatoes, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them into a pan of boiling water, which I've set going just before we started. So wheel those in. Now for today, the amounts here are relating to cooking for about 5 to 6 people. And obviously you can adjust these quantities a little bit. Sometimes I might put in a little more sweet potato, or you could put in some broccoli or something like that and reduce the amount of prawns in here, but I want a really hearty meal sort of as a gift from the sea, so really looking forward to having a fair amount of that in there. So I've just used thawed prawns, and they've got their little heads off. And I'm not going to worry about taking the tails off them, because I think that's half the fun of eating seafood, is that you pull those pieces out and you eat it very much by hand. So while we get started, the first thing we're going to do while that sweet potato is on and just boiling happily away is we're going to make the basil pesto. So just going to ease that down. I've just got a bunch of sort of a really good handful of pesto which I've picked up from the supermarket, and I'm just going to rip the top straight off that, and it's really clean, really nice looking, so I'm just going to throw that straight into there. So that's going to be about a cup of basil leaves, and it smells delicious as you're pulling it apart with your fingers. So you don't want all the stalky bits, you just really want the leaves in there. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to cut up and crush a fairly decent, actually I'm going to just chop it up. I don't need to crush it because it's already got to go into this little hand blender, and that's a fairly generous sized clove of garlic, so I'm just going to chop it into little bits like so. Pop that in there too. Going to put in about half a cup. Let's grab my measuring cups out. I'm going to put in about half a cup of walnut pieces. Feel free to use any kinds of nuts you want. Obviously not peanuts because they're not paleo, but I'm using walnuts today just because I really like the flavour you get from those. And then we're going to add some olive oil, and we're going to put in a cup of olive oil into there as well. So that's just going to be delicious. So just going to put that lid on and set that going. Now normally with a pesto you'd put in 2 cups of olive oil, not 2 cups of olive oil, 2 cups of basil to a cup of olive oil, so it would be a lot drier. This is a lot runnier pesto, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to run this through the prawns and the kumara and everything to help it really spread that flavour. So if you have a really dry pesto or something that you're getting from the supermarket, you're going to want to water it down with a little, well, not water, but you're going to want to thin it out a little bit with some more oil to help spread that out, otherwise it's going to be a little bit dry. Anyway, so that looks good. That's boiling really nicely. So now I'm going to set this pan going. And I'm just going to season that pan with a little bit of olive oil. And some pepper. Put some pepper over the top of our prawns. And I'm just going to slice a couple of lemons. I'm just going to juice a couple of lemons over the top of these prawns, just because I really love that lemony, zesty flavour that goes with that. So I'm just going to do that first lemon over the top, and then I'm going to get these into the pan fairly quickly because that temperature's coming up. I'm just going to bring this up to a reasonably high heat. And already that smells pretty yummy. So that's coming together quite nicely. So that's sort of been sort of 2 or 3 minutes just doing its thing there. So now I'm going to pop that asparagus on top because that's going to want to cook itself through as well, and we're just going to stir that through. Now the asparagus, I've just snapped the ends off those, and then I've halved them as well, just because we want it a slightly smaller size, whereas a full finger of asparagus is just a little bit long for a stir fry. So the idea here is that we'll just make them a little bit smaller so they're easier to manage in the pan. And we're just going to leave that on a nice high temperature. Leave the lid off because we want that to dry out. If you put the lid on, it's going to steam it a little bit hard and it's going to make everything a little bit soggy. We really want to just really brown those flavours up and cook it fast to keep those flavours sealed in. So in the interim, that kumara or sweet potato is ready. So I'm just going to bring that over here and just drain that out. It's looking great, so I'm just going to set that over there to cool. Okay, so that's been going a few minutes, so we're now just going to pour that pesto over the top. And immediately that's just taking on a whole other dimension. Looks delicious. It's looking pretty good to me. And then I'm going to put the kumara over the top. So we're just going to put the lid on that, give it about another 2 minutes, and then we're ready to serve it. And that's done. Cool. So whip that off. So there we have it. Really simple shrimp stir fry with pesto. So I really hope you enjoy that, and look forward to seeing you back here again at Yum Paleo for the next delicious recipe. See you next time.